All right, so a lot of people have been asking me on stream, hey, I just started the game, I just downloaded the game, I'm free to play. Where do I start? Where do I go in? I mean, there's 50% gem sale, there's all these financial sales going on as well, new dream tickets, so much stuff happening in Duel Links, and people always get taken aback when I say, actually, I think this is probably the worst time to start a brand new account in Duel Links. Being a new player right now is just not that great. And people always ask me, well, why not? There's 50% gym sale. I can get in. I can start doing all these things. The big problem right now with the game is simply we do not know what the ban list is going to look like in a month. We are 1 month away from a new world. New world means new world ban lists after the big official Worlds patch as well, which typically means that is when all of the big changes happen to the game. This is when things like Shiranui get murdered on the ban list, when Casitas gets forbidden, stuff like that. So, you know, it's hard to sit back and be like, oh yeah, just go buy this deck, or go buy, this deck, or whatever deck, especially since a lot of decks these days, like Automats, for example, rely on a structure deck, you know? So, not only are you losing your free-to-play gems, you're also losing money, actual real money, by investing into the game incorrectly. And then on top of that, to kind of, screw everything up, Book of Moon is more than likely coming with the new world. That's when Fiendish Chain came. It came with the new world. And if not, it's coming very soon, short after, because they have to release all of that stuff in order to have a new selection box come in to make more money off of the selection box. So it's one of those weird situations where the best deck it's not only the best deck may get nerfed, but one of the best staples is also coming out, which really complicates things when people are asking, oh, what should I get, as a new player right now. Now, there's two ways that I look at this, right? One way where I'm looking at it as how, if you have normal resources, a normal player in Duel Links is not 100% free to play, right? The biggest market, the average new player, will spend a little bit of money on the game. So I'll mention that, and then I'll talk about free to play and kind of where you're at with free to play right now. Okay, so starting off just with the average player, right? If you have just any amount of income, I highly recommend you get Rise of Gaia EX structure deck. This is by far the best structure deck to get right now. Right out of the box, with a few free-to-play stipulations attached to it, you have a King of Games deck, which is exactly what you want out of just playing the game. In terms of just in the actual game itself, the best thing you can do is hit King of Games. That's it. KC Cup and all that, it's a different story. That's just, the more money you spend on the game, the higher chance you have of getting up there in KC Cup, right? But in terms of day-to-day play, hitting King of Games, Rise of Gaia is pretty much what you need. I made a whole how to play guide on this deck, including free-to-play options and builds and stuff like that. Links to that up somewhere on this video, maybe in the description. So definitely go check that out. But I say this over things like Blue Eyes, for example. So, Blue Eyes is a very popular option. Blue Eyes White Dragon, while what you get is pretty good out the gate, you still have to go into a box to really make a coggable deck, right? So you still have to burn some gems. Things even like Stardust Nexus, while it's like Rogue tier can hit King of Games, again, you got to burn a little bit of gems to really optimize it. Where Gaia, right out the gate, plus the free-to-play staples, you have a deck that can hit Cog, and if you happen to get more staples, like Forbidden Chalice and things like that, that would be super amazing for you. Because right now with your gems, what you want to do is you want to save up your gems, because we don't know how good or bad the Book of Moon box is going to be, but Book of Moon is going to be a card that you're going to want at 3 copies, even if the box is just total garbage. You know what I mean? So your mission right now is to save all of your gems, and then with whatever gems you are able to like go over the 9,999 cap. If you go above that, it gets sent to your email or your mail, in-game mail. With those expiring gems is what you're going to call it. That is when you're going to go back and buy all these old staples that you can afford. So we talked about, you know, Forbidden Chalice is actually in quite an amazing box, all things considered. You get things like Forbidden Chalice, Wall of D, and all sorts of stuff in here. But, you know, there's things like Canadia, things like Floodgate, Cosmic Cyclone, all sorts of stuff that you can get. I would avoid Treacherous Trap Hole because it's another questionable card right now. We don't know what they're going to do with it when it comes to the ban list. But all these other staples, UR staples, you could easily get with expiring gems. And that's kind of the name of the game right now. We are just trying to save for expiring gems, right? Because you got the 50% off gem sale, which is great, but you don't want to spend those gems buying a deck, because there's a high chance that those decks will be irrelevant going into the new world, which ultimately causes you to lose a lot. Where the Gaia structure deck, even if you were to lose the whole deck, is like 20 bucks tops, which is not a lot compared to how much you have to grind in game in terms of gems. Now, when it comes to totally free to play, I'm totally new to the game, free to play, what do I do? There are a lot of decks you could just pick up and finish in under 20,000 gems, and you'll have a coggable deck, right? Six Samurai, Photons, a very popular one. People love going into the Photon box. It is an amazing box, but not for Photons. But you can get a bunch of amazing things, and you can get Photons. Some people like to go for, you know, some people still like to go for Lunalights. Don't do any of that, because, again, you want a deck that has the highest chance of seeing no nerfs or minimal nerfs into the new era, while also giving you a good deck that you can put a bunch of your staple cards in, because realistically speaking, only staples are guaranteed to be safe. Everything else, not so guaranteed, right? If Gaia gets a limit 2, you can put more staples in there, no problem. You know, if automats get a limit, they're already limited. You know, automats already have 1,000 limits. So if they get another one, the deck is probably dead. Not much out of there. You don't get much salvage out of there. That is why I recommend Sign of Harpies, which is a horrible name, but we're gonna ignore that for now. Sign of Harpies, mini box. Basically everything you need is out of the box. You can augment it with further Exceed monsters and staples in case anything gets nerfed. Lightning Vortex is in here. In my opinion, even though Harpies are relatively weak compared to the other decks like Resonator and stuff like that, I would go with Harpies if I were 100% free to play. That does mean a more upfront gem investment and more of a risk if the deck gets nerfed. But listen, that's why this is the worst time to start a new account. We don't know what's going to get nerfed or what's safe. But this would be the least amount lost in terms of resources if it got murdered, essentially. And that is why I would recommend something like Harpies. Low investments, you don't have to, you know, invest both money and gems, stuff like that. This would be the second best thing that I would do. So that's pretty much it. Just a little bit of ride tips there. Quick recap. If you're an average player, don't mind spending a little bit of money. Go Gaia, save the rest of your gems. And if you have expiring gems, get staples, Forbidden Chalice, Fiendish Chain, Floodgate, stuff like that. If you're totally free to play, hit up the Harpy Ladies, Easy King of Games, all in a mini box. All comes out fresh. While at the same time, you can start saving gems, you know, obviously a little later than the guy wasting some money on the game. But, you know, if you're free to play, you're free to play. What are you supposed to do? So that's it for Rise Tips. I hope to make a couple more of these types of videos, and, you know, in terms of how to play the game, how to kick King of Games, etc., etc., etc. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you want deck suggestions, definitely go look up those videos that I said. Just the links will be somewhere on the screen, and you guys have a fantastic day.